Now, our next guest is the brother-in-law of Andy Murray. He's broken the world record for being the youngest person to complete a solo trek to the South Pole.
Yeah, 27-year-old Lieutenant Scott Sears completed it on Christmas Day. He's raised more than £40,000 for charity while doing so. We're going to hear from him in just a moment. First, Tom Barton takes a look at his extraordinary journey.
2 out of 5 days are likely to be a whiteout, which is basically like you're inside a ping pong ball. You don't know which way's up, which way's down.
On the 7th of November 2017, after 2 long years of intensive training, Scott Sears set off on the journey of a lifetime. With a sled called Bessie as his only companion, Scott walked 12 hours every day in temperatures of -50 Celsius, with minimal communication in often treacherous conditions.
Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. This is another proof of life audio message rather than a blog. Mainly to my mum, just to make sure she knows that I am in fact alive.
Covering an epic 1,130 kilometres from Hercules Inlet to the South Pole, Scott finally arrived at his destination on Christmas Day after 38 days of solo exploration, making him the youngest person ever to complete an unassisted trek to the South Pole.
Well, Scott joins us now, and you got back to the UK yesterday?
Yeah, the day before yesterday.
How is it being back?
Very good. There's a lot of food, which is amazing.
You're making the most of it?
Yeah, I haven't stopped eating, I don't think. I lost 10 kilos on the trek, so I'm trying to put it all back on. And I'm doing very well.
So it's a new January, new you.
Yeah, new
certainly
me.
we'll be talking about that. This is your kit. This is what you had to carry.
This is
what. Tell us daily how long you were going and sort of how tricky it was.
So I was just over 12 hours a day. I get up at 5:30, and I'd start going. I wouldn't stop until basically I couldn't walk anymore in the evening. I was covering up to about 40 kilometres a day with the sled, and it now only weighs about 40 kilos, but at the start it was just over 100, so about 106 kilos when I started off.
So this is some footage of you training, I think, isn't it? Trying to sort of get used to that sort of constant drag.
That's right. Yeah, so I was actually out in Brunei for the last 2 years with the Royal Gurkha Rifles, so I had the beach close by, and that was actually where I did most of my training rather than in snow conditions, with dragging a tyre up and down next to the South China Sea.
How do you know when you're ready? I mean, you say you take 2 years to train, but obviously it's not like you can kind of, you know, I know you can sort of think about what the conditions are going to be like, but it's not until you get out there, I suppose, and you're right in the middle of it, that you realise the true impact of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I did a big final sort of test exercise where I went to Svalbard in the Arctic Circle, and I went from east to west, and it was by myself, and it was the longest I'd been by myself in those conditions, and that was sort of my, you know, go, don't go moment, where if that all went well and I'm happy with how it went, I'd go for it, and I felt confident after that, so I decided to give it a go.
So you did it unaided, you were on your own. How many days was it?
It took me 38. I had 50 days worth of supplies, and I managed to get in.
38, so you broke the record being the youngest, you did it in the fastest time. But being on your own, how tricky was it being on your own? Because I know that there's constant sunshine in theory, so you were charging everything by solar power, but there was a period where you had no sun.
Yeah, so for the second week, it was 6 days, I was in a whiteout, which is like being on the inside of a ping pong ball. You can't see which way's up, which way's down, you get very disoriented, and I couldn't charge my iPod. So I was literally...
So there's no music or anything?
No music, so I was just staring at the tips of my skis for 12 hours a day, trapped in the sort of dark recesses of my mind.
Because your friends and family put together playlists for you, hadn't they?
They did, yeah. My girlfriend got like a desert island disc sort of thing, and they just put some of the worst music of all time.
Just to cheer you up?
Yeah, Chris and Kem from Love Island made a few appearances, and Frozen was on there very many times.
Very apt.
Good sense of humour. So what do you think was the hardest thing then? Was it the coping with being on your own? Was it, you know, the physical exertion, the mental side of it?
Definitely the mental, and it's just the fact that you're by yourself and no one's really there to make you accountable. So when you're sitting there and you're really hungry, there's no one to stop you from actually going in and tucking into tomorrow's rations and things like that. So I was putting my food 10-15 metres away from my tent because I was so hungry that I was really desperate to get in there and start eating the next.
Did you ever give in?
I got out in the middle of the night once, and I crawled out in basically a blizzard and ended up eating a piece of chocolate from the next day's ration.
You were so desperate.
It was a pathetic moment, I think, in my life.
But that mental strain, the mental battle was torturing you, lying in the tent, knowing that the food's there and you could just go and have a little bit of it.
It was tough, yeah. I was burning between 7,000 and 9,000 calories every single day, and you can only absorb 6,000 calories, so I was in a huge deficit. From the start, which was quite tough.
And just how cold was it? I mean, I don't like the cold, and just the thought of this is just horrendous. And I understand, though, that you had to be careful about balancing out, because you didn't want to get too hot under all the clothing, did you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, Antarctica is the coldest continent on Earth, the coldest temperatures ever were there. I was there in the summer, so actually I had pretty balmy temperatures of like -25, -30 with the
Balmy.
wind chill on top.
I mean, positively balmy.
Yeah, it can get down to -89 degrees there, so I was quite lucky. But I worked with Shackleton to develop this jacket.
I was going to say, talk us through the
Charlotte's
layers
going
that
to
you've
put the
got.
jacket on so you can
demonstrate
Yeah,
it.
you can try it. This is actually good down to -60, and I would wear this when I'd sit on.
It's like wearing a duvet.
Yeah, I'd sit on my sled and have my snacks. When I'd stop moving, I'd put this on. And I could sit in the middle of a huge sort of Antarctic storm.
I could do with one of these.
Just in the studio, it's nice and cosy.
Yeah.
And this weighs, how much is this now, Scott, your sled, how much is this weighing at the minute?
That's about 40 kilos now. All the food's come out, got smashed on excess baggage on the way back. So I know exactly how heavy that is.
So Charlotte reckons she could give this a quick pull, didn't you? Go on then. So how do you go
Not that
about...
I want to make it look easy.
Well, I haven't got a harness on, but yeah, if you from that end, give it a...
Come on. You've pulled heavier stuff than that.
There you go, you're fine, you're smashing it.
There we go. Right.
Making it look a bit too easy. He's just struggled all the way across.
Sorry.
South
He did
Pole.
say that the weight had gone, though.
Yeah, it's 40.
There we
It's
go.
about...
In her high heels as well, Scott.
I know.
To shame here, by the way.
Next winter, she'll get after it.
Struggling.
It's almost strictly training, you see.
So look, I mean, interestingly, you've managed to achieve this, which is extraordinary. What's the next challenge for you?
Oh, well, I'm sort of focusing back to work now. I'm back with the Gurkhas, and, you know, we've got a busy year ahead of us, so back to work on Monday, actually, on exercise.
Back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
You put that down.
I know, it's that's quite a good workout, though.
One
I am
thing,
getting quite
of course,
hot in this
as
jacket.
we were
I might have to
saying,
take that one
Andy
off.
Murray's your brother-in-law, and sad news for him because he's had to pull out of his most recent tournament, and as Sean was saying in the sport, his hip looks like it's quite bad. Have you spoken to him about it?
I haven't. It's a tough time for him, but I'm sure he'll get back after it and do all his rehab and stuff.
Do you ever train together? Because it sounds like he could do with some of the sort of the physical training that you put in.
Oh, no, he's in far better shape than I am, I'm afraid. He's got far bigger legs, so he probably would have done very well out there with the size of his quads.
Brilliant stuff. Look, we're really chuffed that you could come in, especially when you've only just got back. Have you had Christmas with the family?
I did. I got in. I got a roast dinner when I got in, which was very nice.
So you've been making the most of it.
I have. Yeah, I'm almost back to my fighting weight.
Already? Yeah, that's very impressive. Lovely to see you.
Thank you very much.